We're going to use synthetic yet again, and then I'm going to show you guys reverse tabular methods. Both methods are cool. I think synthetic, though, you write the least. And whenever you can write less, I mean, we all like that. So first we're going to look at our leading coefficients. But in order to properly do that, we got to make sure we're not missing any terms. We had a constant, an x term, an x squared term. Then what? We go right to x to the fourth. Are we missing a term? Yeah, so we're missing an x cubed. Okay, so I'm going to put x to the fourth, and then I'm going to add in plus 0x to the third power. I got to put that term in there. We got to have every single term in order to do synthetic division. Then we have minus 10x squared minus 2x plus 4. And then we're dividing by this. Now, in order to do synthetic division, you have to get the 0 from that factor. What is the 0 for that factor? It is -3. Now you guys think about that and you go, oh, it's a -3 because it would make it 0. If I plug in -3 to this, it would make it 0, right? Or maybe you're thinking this. If I take this and I set this equal to 0 and I solve it, I will get a -3. These are the two ways you might think about it in order to find your 0. There's another way to think about it, and that's because when we write factors, the standard way to write a factor is like this, x minus a. That's the standard way to write it. So if your 0 was -3, it actually would go like this, x minus -3. And what is a negative? Positive. Yeah, we don't write it like this, we write it like this. But the 0 is still -3. This is a standard way to write it. A is the 0. But do you have to think about that way? Nah, I'm just telling you guys just in case you're reading the textbook and you guys are curious. Okay, so how do we do the synthetic division part? You got to take each of the leading coefficients and you got to write them out. And then the 4. So we got 1, 0, -10, -2, and then 4. Okay, and this is how I like to set it up. You don't have to set it up like this. I just want to make sure I remember this is a remainder and this is the 0. Those are where those numbers are when you put them in there. So what is my 0 for the number that I'm dividing by? There's x plus 3. What's my 0? -3. So I put -3 right there, and then the synthetic division begins. The first number is a 1. You bring that guy down, and then you write them like that, and then you take this and multiply it times 0. What is 1 times -3? Okay, so then I put -3 right here. And then I combine those. What is 0 and -3? -3. And then I have to write the new one. What is -3 times -3? 9. And then I add those. I get -1, and then I put that up here. You don't have to put these arrows. I'm just doing it for the sake of learning. What is -1 times -3? 3. +3. I add those. I get +1. And then we have +1 times -3. -3. All right. So we get a -3 right here. And then what do I get? A 1. Okay, so we have a remainder. And so there's a general template that you have to know, that you have to use every time you use synthetic division, and that is this. It works backwards. You go remainder plus a constant plus an x term plus x squared term. What would be next? X cubed term, and so on and so forth. And so it keeps going for however many numbers you have. So what's do we have a remainder? Yeah, it's 1 over x plus 3. You always do that with remainders. You always make them into fractions. You go 1, which is the remainder, divided by whatever you're dividing by. All right? Just like if you were like if you had 18 divided by 4. You would say 18 divided by 4 is 6, right? And so you get 6 times. No, that's not right. 4, right? What's 4 times 4? 16. I subtract to get remainder of 2. You don't write remainder 2. That's silly. You go 2 over 4, which is the same as 1/2. And we normally don't write a plus sign when we write a mixed number. We assume that the plus sign is there. So you always divide by whatever you're dividing by for your remainder. Okay, I'm done with that guy. Let's get back to our business here. What's after the 1? I see we got this 1, which is right there, and then we have another 1. So we're going to write plus 1, and that's the constant. That's this guy. The next one's going to be our x term. What's our third one? Negative. So we have plus -1x, and then what's our fourth one? So we have -3x squared, And then for our x to the third power, what do we have? We just have a 1. And so here's your answer. If the one is being like a leading like a coefficient like this guy or this guy right here, you don't have to write those ones. You can get rid of those ones. Looks like that.